Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Monday, 8th of March 2021. Today, Steve Kavanagh released a statement through the Millwall website, millwallfc.co.uk, and he did one of these a couple of months ago, and he's done another one now. So let's have a little read of it. It's got 4,444 views, which is weird and satisfying at the same time to be so uniform. Let's have a read. Firstly, and most importantly, I hope everyone reading is safe and well. Are you? I'm safe and well. How about you? I'm sure by now many of you will have had a vaccine. No. Or at least received contact regarding one. No. And it feels apt to be writing this on the day of the first step in the government's roadmap out of lockdown, with schools returning across the country. It is, of course, a significant step forward, and I'm sure will help to further optimism amongst all of us that the light at the end of the tunnel is closer than it has been for some time. Hopefully, as a nation, we can guard against any complacency and continue to follow all the guidelines and regulations which apply to each of us in order to ensure that subsequent stages of the roadmap can be met. The prospect of a return to social and economic normality in the summer is certainly an exciting one, and hopefully the successful vaccine rollout, allied with our own behaviours, is enough to guarantee that proves to be the case. Since the Prime Minister revealed details of the government's roadmap, we have been able to really begin looking ahead to 21-22, which we hope will start with full stadia. With this in mind, we are finalising discussions around the club's strategy for season tickets and memberships, and we anticipate going on sale with one, if not both, in just a few weeks' time. Your support for the club throughout this entire pandemic has been nothing short of outstanding, and believe me when I say that the management, players and all other staff are every bit as excited about seeing the stands fall once again as you all will be about your return to the den. Before then though, there is the prospect of pilot events in football, and we would again be delighted to host one or more if selected towards the end of this campaign. We're not yet sure what format such pilots would take, or whether EFL fixtures will be in contention as part of the government's plans, but we certainly hope so, and will await further guidance from DCMS, which is the Department of Culture, Media and Sport, and other bodies. On top of making football a far greater spectacle for all concerned again, the return of supporters will of course provide a tremendous financial boost to clubs after a year of immense struggle. It's amazing that clubs, particularly those in the EFL, have been able to survive for so long without their primary revenue sources, and it is to the credit of fans and owners up and down the country for providing the key financial support which has enabled the continuation of these community assets. For us, revenue generated through iFollow subscriptions, match pass sales, the Lions Loyalty Club and other commercial initiatives has been incredibly important, and I thank everyone who has contributed to one or more of those streams. I also cannot articulate just how indebted we are to our chairman, John Berylson, for the way in which he continues to support the club year after year, but never more so than in the past 12 months. In my view, we have the best chairman in English football for so many different reasons, and hopefully he too can be back at matches sooner rather than later when restrictions are lifted, especially as he's now fully vaccinated. There was a lot of talk in the media early on in the pandemic about whether its impact would provoke a long-term shift against historic overspending and general financial irregularities within football. As a club, we continue to be of the belief that far stricter and more comprehensive regulations need to be in place and be properly enforced in order to ensure that no club and set of fans falls foul of irresponsible ownership or management. Throughout all the discussions that have occurred between clubs and the governing bodies, we have been supportive of the idea that existing rules need to be enhanced and developed rather than thrown out, instead of another new set of guidelines being introduced for others simply to try and evade. We, as part of that debate, accepted the concept of a salary cap, but one which would sit alongside profitability and sustainability rules. We believe such a framework would best limit deficits and protect long-term futures of clubs for the sake of all stakeholders, but most importantly, their fans. Regulations should be about the long-term sustainability of the whole of football, not simply individual clubs. It remains to be seen what changes, if any, will be made to profit and sustainability regulations moving forward, although surely the selling of a club stadium must be stopped. We all know competing in the Championship is difficult and financially challenging, but the very future of clubs must not be put at risk, and we certainly won't allow the existence of Millwall to be gambled away in this manner. In a separate issue, but one linked to club finances, I can confirm that we have engaged with legal representation over the failure of our brokers with regards to our business interruption insurance. We're not the only football club or indeed business to have suffered as a result of this, and will continue to work hard in order to receive what we feel we are rightly and fairly owed. A lot has been made publicly about the Premier League bailout for the EFL, which has served to add to existing frustrations and difficulties around finances during the pandemic. The truth is that in the Championship, this was a loan to pay back HMRC debts that the clubs had built up. We were then informed that the loan was being sourced from the government, which is ironic in itself, and that the Premier League's involvement was to pay the interest. All that being said, the government effectively blocked the loan by trying to enforce undeliverable conditions anyway, so the lack of financial support, which has lasted a year, continues. We remain solely reliant on our chairman and other revenue streams, which are wholly incomparable to what they are during normal times. When I wrote to you 2 months ago, I spoke about the imminent introduction of a new internal equality steering committee. In essence, it has become a new department at the club, made up of staff from across Millwall and the Community Trust, as well as external volunteers and advisors, with the remit of driving all efforts around anti-discrimination. The committee has already met twice and will continue to do so monthly for the foreseeable future. I'm encouraged by the discussions and debates already had on the board, and are confident the work of the committee will help to continue to keep the club at the forefront of efforts in this field, which are every bit as important as ever before. I'd like to thank all those who completed the fan survey which was sent out in January. We had just over 3,000 responses, which gave us a good feel for the way you are feeling, both generally and in terms of your engagement with the club. But we also appreciate that not everybody received the survey when it was emailed out. After further investigations, it became clear that this was because of an issue with one of our data feeds, and as such, the company who manage our email marketing platform are currently working on resolving that technical problem. Once that process is complete, we will send a survey out again so that all who didn't get the opportunity to respond can do so. As I said previously, we view this survey as an incredibly important first step in better understanding your opinions, thoughts and feelings, and it will be followed by additional, more targeted questionnaires based on the responses and results. It is imperative that we receive as many responses as possible so that we can implement any necessary changes quickly and efficiently, and I thank you in advance for your continued cooperation. As always, stay tuned for further news and updates from the club, in particular the aforementioned launch of season tickets and memberships within the next month. Please also continue to show your support for the team by purchasing iFollow match passes. Not only is it a key source of revenue at a troubling time, it's also a boost to the players to know that people are watching their efforts from home. Stay safe, Steve Kavanagh. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Statement from the chairman. I don't know what you think about that. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just gonna say about the fixtures. So apparently the government has said that fans can come back from the end of May, but the problem with that is they literally time that to when the end of the season comes. So that's a bit snide, isn't it? They literally timed it. So I looked at it and it was so the playoff final. There could be some fans at the playoff final. So it's highly likely we're not going to get there to the playoff final. Let's be honest. But there has been, so the lower leagues, the ones below the National League Premier League, the National Premier League, whatever they call it, that's still going on. But the leagues below that, National League North and South, have they voted to cancel their seasons, and some other the leagues a lot further down in the pyramid, I think they didn't vote, but it was just done anyway by the league. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's how it went. They didn't vote to end it. They were told to end it. Especially Fisher FC, their league, which I think is the South East Counties Football League, SCEFL. But what they've said is the league said to the clubs, do you want to play a cup game, a cup competition, when the fans can come back? Probably in June. It'd be in the beginning of June. So that is something that could happen. I don't think we'll play a cup competition, but there could be a couple of friendlies with fans in the den. I can't see why not. Maybe a little mini competition with local teams, but that would be a bit eggy with us. We're probably playing against Charlton and Palace, and you can imagine how that would go. It would be even if there is limited fans there, you would imagine there would be no away fans. But we could see a friendly or two. Why not? Like literally, I think the 29th is the date that the fans can come back. So let's have a bloody friendly on the 29th. The players get paid. Their contracts are until the 30th of June. So play a couple of 2 or 3 friendlies and get some money into the club. Especially if there's over the summer when there's nothing coming in. Not even going to be any money from any match passes. I can't see why not. Maybe, yeah, I can't see why not. Why can't we have a couple of friendlies? Even if it's just Millwall or testimonial kind of thing, like a like Millwall versus old Millwall, ex Millwall, like the current team versus ex players, or the current team versus the under 23s, or even something like that. I'm sure some people would be up for that. But there you go. So there's Steve Kavanagh's statement there. Sounds like a reading that like the kind of thing a politician would say. I don't know what you think, but I don't know if he's got plans to run for office, but with a statement like that, why not? Seems he could be a politician. Anyway, let's move on. We've got news about injuries because we've got a lot of injuries, so we've got a lot of injury news. So I'm going to bring you some now. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, which is the South London Press's online website. It says Millwall defender set to be back ahead of schedule as boss provides injury update, and they're talking about Mario Wallace there. There is a picture of him. It says Millwall defender Murray Wallace is closing in on a return from the broken foot, which has sidelined him in since the start of January. The 28-year-old, who recently signed a new contract with the SC16 outfit, has made 20 appearances this season. Murray is progressing a little bit quicker, and we're quite pleased with that, said Lions manager Gary Rowett. He still hasn't been on the grass yet, so he's still a little bit away. We are waiting on some scan results for Mikael Keftenbeld. We don't anticipate getting them until the end of the week. Striker Tom Bradshaw missed Saturday's 2-0 loss to Blackburn with an Achilles injury. I'm expecting Bradders to be fit, but me expecting players to be fit isn't the best thing for me to expect. It's been a difficult period, said Rowett. I don't see masses of change. We might just get one back or a couple back. The other injured players are progressing well, but will probably be after the international break, which is around about the 27th of March. You can segment the last bit of our season into two. The next 3 games, and then the games after the international break, when I'd hope our squad looks very, very different. We have to more or less go with what we've got in the short term. So where the hell is Keftenbeld getting his scans? Is he getting on the NHS? There's a club that broke. They got to send him down to the NHS hospital to get it for free. They can't pay for to go private. They can't pay for him to go down Bupa. Well, I don't know how it's working now. I don't know. It's probably, you keep hearing these things about the hospitals are empty, but I don't know. You don't know what to believe. I imagine they're quite busy and they've had to change everything around. So, but if it was a private hospital or somewhere on Harley Street or somewhere, or Bupa, isn't there a Bupa place in Blackheath somewhere? I don't know where. There must be one near the training ground in Bromley. So I don't know. Anyway, so that's the injury news. That's Daily Mill for today. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.